Okay, so today's video we're taking a look at a little fairy light setup. First, a couple of images that give you some details, and then we'll take a look at the actual fairy lights, talk a little bit more about the function. Alright, so as stated, we're taking a look at some fairy lights. So fairy lights, basically, a little box that it comes in real quick. It's basically this really thin strand of copper wire that has these little dots, almost sort of looks like a blob of hot glue, essentially, and it runs the entire length. This particular set is 33 feet. I believe they also sell 16-foot length as well. Now, the electronics, you probably wouldn't want to get those wet, obviously, that makes sense, but the actual LED lights themselves and the copper wire and everything, that shouldn't be a problem with water. So if you wanted to use this in a situation that's going to involve that, you don't have to be worried about that. So I don't know how well you can see that, but like I said, just a little ball or a little wire strand with little balls, kind of like little hot glue dots, and they light up. So great thing about this is it is powered via a USB connection, which means, and you can disconnect that, which means that you can power this up with a power bank or just about any, really whatever you want. And it has an inline remote, which I really appreciate the option. You can turn off and on the music function, which is basically a microphone sensitive functionality, meaning that the lights illuminate when sound is heard. You also have different color changes and your power. To get this on your network, to be able to control this with the app through the Wi-Fi and an Amazon Echo device, I guess you could use other devices too, but I use an Amazon Echo, so I'm specifically speaking about my usage case. You'll hold down the off and on the power button, and if you hold it down, I don't know, like 5 seconds or so, 3 to 5 seconds, you'll see it begin to flash red, and then within the app you can actually add the device. And I just did the auto scan to try to discover devices, and it found it, added it, very quick, very easy, no problem whatsoever. There's also this little pigtail IR sensor, and that is because you have a remote that is included. And then of course you have your wire that goes to the actual lights themselves. Alright, so I'm going to set this back over here. I'm going to plug this in. Alright, so you could utilize this for a lot of different things, whether it's a holiday decorative type thing or what have you. My use case is a little different than that. Before we get into that real quick, I just want to show you, you do have this little double-sided adhesive. You can stick that on the back of this, and I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little tiny piece here that's sticking out that has a hole on it. You could actually put a little tiny screw on that. There's not a screw included, but you could put a little screw in that, or maybe even like a thumbtack might work if it's long enough, and depending on what surface you're going into. It's a very small hole, but you could use it to mount the device if you wanted to, or you could use double-sided tape that's provided, or your own if you wanted. A user manual, so that gives you a lot of detail about getting it connected if you need that for some reason. And then you have sort of this little slim credit card style remote. The battery, I don't see what's, I don't know if it's CR 2025, so that's pretty typical 2025 CR 2032s. So just a multi-function remote, so you can kind of see. You can do a lot of things with the remote. We'll play with that for here just a second. But this is my use case. I have this really cool little, I guess, mosaic looking glass. And it's kind of like in churches. Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember what it's called exactly. Stained glass window. There you go. Like a stained glass window. You'll see a lot of times in churches and everything. I think it looks really cool. And what I use it for is I stick this inside, and not only do I get the really cool colors from the lights in the actual strand, but I get some additional colors through the glass. But I'm not going to do that for right now, only because I want to show you guys the lights specifically. And you could also put this around your TV or monitor, you know, however you want to. There's a lot of things you could do with this, especially around the holidays. It'd be really great for Christmas trees and stuff. So anyway, if I use the remote here that's included, I can turn this on, turn it back over, and this thing is actually really bright and very colorful. It looks really, really nice. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but you can also go through different patterns, colors and such. So it works out really, really well. And then if I turn on the music aspect, you can see it's only activated whenever I use sound activation, my voice in this case. So I'll turn that back off. Now, obviously, you can turn it off and on with the remote, just like that. And then you can also do different brightness adjustments and things of that nature. So that's really cool. And then on the app, it has some really cool, like I'm using Toya Smart. You can use Smart Life, or you can use the app Popotan, I don't know, it's some app that they actually have. I don't know the exact name, how it's pronounced, but you can turn the power off and on, so you can see that. Turn it off and on. You can also go through and adjust the color wheel and find whatever color you like. So you can see over here, it's just kind of fading in and out, and that's because I have rhythm. You have the sensitivity. You have some different presets for the patterns. I kind of like one called Spectrum, so it creates this little look right there. I think it looks really cool. I don't know, it's really up to you. So you have this right here, like you just have the color adjustment. So if I hit pink, so it's kind of in the pink, you kind of see it's got pink. Pretty cool. I like blues mostly, so I primarily stick with the blue colors. And then you also have a setting where you can do both the schedule and a countdown. So if you wanted to have it come on for an hour and then shut off, you could do that. Or you want to schedule it to come on every day at a certain time, you could do things like that. But I think my personal favorite is that they have these little scenes like this. And like, let's go with the Christmas tree, for example. So we open that up, you can see the pattern, and you can actually swipe through and have different styles, different patterns. And then the light will mimic the pattern that you see, which allows you to kind of design a sort of a custom look on your Christmas tree decoration, which is, I think, really, really cool. So, I don't know, there's a whole lot for the Christmas tree. Like the little white dots across the bottom indicate how many different pages or choices are available. And you know, as you can see, it just continually goes through that cycle. Really, really cool. And then, of course, you have all your other options like your firmware updates, remove device and everything, edit the name and different things. And then the cool thing is, I'm going to go ahead and you can see it's on right now. So I'm going to turn that off. You can see it's off. Now, the advanced warning, I may trigger your Amazon Echo. Alexa, turn on fairy lights.
Okay.
And so I can turn this off and on with my voice. So I have so many different capabilities. I can, Alexa, stop. I can use the telephone, the app. I can use the included remote. I can use voice. Or I can use the inline remote. So I love having all these different aspects, and all these pre-programmed designs are really cool. So this is just one of the more impressive, well, I've never seen any fairy lights that have this many options. So I think it's really, really cool. I look forward to be able to utilize this, you know, more sort of a decorative thing. And because the wire is really thin, I can sit this down flat and it doesn't, you know, tip up or down. And when I turn that on, you can see, well, it's going to not really show up as well on the camera as it does in person, but there's just this variety of color through the actual glass as well as the actual light on the actual strand. Anyway, that's it. It's really, really cool. I like it a whole lot. I hope you will too if you decide to get one. But if you want to find out more, check out the link below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.